episode 492 of Global from Anywhere podcast. Empower the Seller Kickoff.
Welcome to Global from Anywhere podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight-up actionable advice.
Welcome back to Global from Anywhere. I'm Mike, and today we're diving into a topic that's fundamentally changing the game for every online seller. With me is Lisa. Lisa, you've seen the e-commerce world evolve over the years. What's the biggest pressure point you see for merchants right now?
Honestly, Mike, it's the sheer speed of AI. It feels like the old playbook of just setting up a Shopify store or an Amazon listing and running ads is no longer enough. There's this constant feeling that if you're not preparing for what's next, you're already falling behind. It's exciting, but also pretty overwhelming.
You've hit it exactly. The new reality is that our next customers won't just be humans browsing websites, they'll be AI agents executing tasks. And those agents don't browse, they read data. That's why today, we're talking about the shift from building scattered storefronts to creating a single, powerful, machine-readable data feed that you own and control.
So we're moving beyond just using AI for marketing copy and into a world where our entire business needs to be structured for AI to understand and transact with.
Precisely. It's about building your own e-commerce brain and preparing for the rise of agentic commerce. In this session, we're going to show you how to stop just selling online and start building a future-proof multi-channel system. It's time to truly empower the seller. Hey entrepreneurs, if you're serious about scaling your cross-border business in 2026, don't miss the Cross Border Summit happening November 3rd to 5th in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Network with speakers and fellow advanced sellers who are already navigating AI tools, tariff strategies, and new market expansion. Early bird tickets available at 2026.crossborderssummit.com.
Today we're talking, after our last session, there was some people interested to learn more about agentic commerce and the new, I think it's the new internet. There's also a very embarrassing video of me in college, when I was in college, about the internet on TV that my professor sent me. And I feel like it's a similar time now. So I will share my screen, but I will also speak so that if you're on the audio only podcast, because we do put this as audio only, you should be able to follow. So you can see my screen, Christian?
Yep.
All right. It's tricky to do full screen, but I will risk it. So this is the Empower the Seller program. It's been around a couple of years as a sub-brand. Actually, it's a book. I've written a book called Empower the Seller. It's on the website, empowertheseller.com. But it's also a program, and we're going to share how you can empower yourselves as a merchant. Also going to be asking me questions. He's getting empowered, and he's been empowering himself as a merchant himself in our team. So we're going to go through that to be a little bit more interactive. Christian, if I get boring or I ramble, please just tell me to shut up.
Exactly. Yeah. I will try my best to kind of support the non-technical people, because I am afraid that you will be like, go deep. So let's try to run this smooth.
I think that's part of the program, is to get a little bit more technical. I know you've gotten a lot more technical. I've gotten a lot more technical. Anne here has gotten more technical. I think the new part of the new world is to get more technical. I think it's a good point you bring it up. When the internet came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was making websites, a lot of people didn't want to learn. I think the point is you should be willing to learn if you want to adapt. If you don't want to learn, I think that's a bigger issue, but you got to be willing to learn. And you got to be willing to get more technical. It might sound scary. You might not understand it, but I believe in the new e-commerce world and a new business world, we're all going to have to get more technical. So I hope, but please tell me if I'm not clear enough. But I think the main point of what I'm trying to say, even before I get into it, is it's not about a website anymore. It's not about a store or even a marketplace. It's basically going to be everywhere. You're going to be, of course, everybody knows ChatGPT. basically the way it's going to work, and my vision of it is you're going to chat or talk to your agent or talk to an LLM about a product you want to buy, and then they're going to help you buy, and that's going to be the story. I think the idea is it's not going to be this traditional. You go to a website, you read the catalog, you search, you read the description, you add to cart, you put out, you're filling your address. I don't think that's going to be the future. So that's the big picture. But basically, all these different channels are going to have to kind of be combined into basically a feed is what we're talking about. So basically, right now it's all scattered. And I know you worked hard centralizing the data, right? So I think a lot of sellers now, what the problem is, they sell on Amazon and they upload their product. They don't probably upload. They might use a flat file. But I don't know, Christian, do you think people use flat files or even know what I'm talking about?
Of course, if you are a normal merchant or seller, you should know that part. But I think most is not using it. They're like mostly on the support side, like contact support,
Yeah.
or on the UI side.
Yeah, so a lot are still adding a product by uploading a photo, writing the title, putting the bullet points, putting a description, maybe adding some A plus content, etc. Hopefully a video. But I think the real way is to build your own database. But right now, I think people sign up for Shopify, they sign up for Amazon, they sign up for Etsy, they sign up for eBay, they sign up for whatever, and they just upload products manually or whatever way that platform does it. But I think the real way is centralizing that. So the idea here is...
yeah,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
Mike. Wait. So technically, since I was really looking about this scattered one, so what you are telling now is all the products, all your product information will be on one place, and then it will be like what distributed across any platform, right?
Yeah, so I'm on the next slide, and it says the old model is building a website, get traffic to it, hope the channel converts. The new model is building a structured data set, making it machine readable. Of course, still human readable because you still need humans to read it and still have the old internet and then distribute it. So yeah, I don't want to say this is a brand new idea. Multi-channel e-commerce, there's platforms, there's tools, there's softwares that exist. But yeah, basically what I'm saying, Christian, is I've met a lot of sellers and they actually make millions of dollars a year, but they still do it manually. They still just, maybe they have a flat file, but they do that just for Amazon. And then they do it for different, maybe Shopify or other places. Maybe they get plugins. We know some guys and girls that use plugins. We're trying to say is have a central database of your products and then formatting that for different channels.
Yeah, I think on my second point on that one is, or on my second thought on that one is, when I use those plugins, me myself use those plugins to port my data through other platforms or marketplaces, and the problem is the data is even not clean. So it's like it's not very quality enough because it's not really meant to this platform. Wow, this is cool. Nice.
Yeah. So I've been passionate about this. I think you've seen some of my speeches and my content and the products I've been building, Christian, but I really think you need to separate your data layer from your application layer. And I know that probably sounds technical, and maybe it is technical. And that's what I think you see how I build stuff. But I like that because it's once you have your data, like you said, a clean data set, the front end or the application is just presenting that data in the way that front end wants it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It sounds all technical, but what is an Amazon listing? What is a Shopify listing? What is an eBay listing? It's basically pulling different data into a different way of a user interface to see. And so I think a smart seller realizes that and realizes, hey, if I have one data in my very back end that's mine, I can just export it or I can just manipulate it to go into different platforms the way that those platforms want to read it. And that's not really new. I've even done that since 20 years ago. But what's new now is the agentic feed, which I think I will show later. But once you get this data, but the problem I've been noticing as I talk to sellers is they don't have their data clean, right? So I think the core step is to take your product data and clean it and organize it. Of course, follow maybe our standards, but any standard that you can. All right.
Yeah, nice. This is very, yeah, a good
Is
start.
that clear? Okay,
It is.
Christian's helping
Mhm.
make sure I get a little bit technical and I can somewhat ramble. So thanks, Christian. So we call our solution Build My Online Store. Actually, it's my buddy podcast from 2012, and we've been keeping legacy going, and we've repositioned it as a operating system for agentic commerce. So you can go to buildmyonlinestore.com if you're curious. I can show you as well. But the way this works is it's your merchant's control center operating system, so that once you get your data in there, you can then connect it to different storefronts and systems, and of course the magical agentic commerce channel, as well as the traditional human legacy platforms as well. Is that
Yeah,
clear?
yeah, it is. I think, do you have any samples in the next pages, Mike, about this kind? I think you will show the,
Yeah, I think I get to it almost in a couple more slides.
yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, let's,
Yeah, so basically, yeah, I think we'll get into demo. I know, but basically, the idea here is once you have this operating system, you can then export it, like I had said, or stream it or connect it to all these different other platforms. So our stack, our agentic commerce stack, is Build My Online Store, BMOS, with 51 exports for the data layer, checkout best for the human and machine checkout, and then headless domains for the agentic identity. So these are all this has been over this has maybe been 8 months in the works, even with AI's help of building and testing. And we're going to show you now. I know. So of course, let's focus on the first one and probably the main one that you would work with. The others are kind of underneath BMOS, or Build My Online Store. So actually, this is a framework. You don't need to use our hosted solution. We built this as a standard so that you could also use this in your own stores that you have. You don't have to use our solution. I want to make this a resource for everyone. So you just FYI, there's no obligation to use our self-hosted solution. You can also use this standard without our hosted solution. But we will be showing you our hosted solution as well as the standards that were used that you could also follow yourself if you'd like to use it on your own way. So basically the idea is you build, you operate, and you prepare for the agentic web. And here's a quick screenshot, but of course this is actually a humongous system. So I might not be able to get through everything today, but I will pop into my browser and I will go to app.buildmyonlinestore.com, and I am logged in here. So I'll just read it out what I'm seeing. I'm in dark mode. I don't know, Christian, are you in dark mode or a light mode? What's
dark.
dark? You like dark too, but I don't know
But
if
for the
screen...
presentation, Mike, please use light mode.
Yeah, I think we use light mode. So
yeah.
you can see, if you're watching my screen, you can see I can easily move between light and dark. So we have 28 stores here, with 17 of them as agentic stores and some various order data, and you can see the various stores and orders. But I'm going to dive into one specific store. So I click into storefronts. So this is built to be multi-storefront, right? I remember I spoke at Cross Border Summit, and especially Gianmarco, but I spoke about making your own maybe product domains. And a lot of people were curious about that. So this is a perfect way to have multiple domains, multiple channels. So we got quite a few. I like Glassrimmer, so I'm going to go to glassrimmer.com. You can also follow along and go to glassrimmer.com if you would like. This has not yet gotten orders. We are also pretty new on getting this set up. But what you're seeing if you're watching me is the main thing is this green bar, the feed. So I can click view feed. This goes to the human readable feed, but we just upgraded UI. Okay, I can copy the URL. I like to show people what the machine sees, what the machine in the matrix. So yeah, this looks pretty crazy.
My God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't overwhelm them, Mike.
I did this on purpose. It looks scary, but I want people to understand a little bit of the technical. This is what the AI sees, right? This is what the AI sees. It looks scary. It's a big block of text. And I know people might not want to get so technical. I'm going to make it a little bit pretty. You can click this pretty link and you can make it look prettier. But then you can start to kind of understand what's going on if you scan through it. But it's showing you different rails, which are crypto. So the agentic commerce actually is crypto. It's stablecoin crypto, but it's cryptocurrency or blockchain technology. So, man, I guess I'm going to get pretty technical. Well, just this feed could be like an hour. But basically, the point is it's explaining to the machine everything on Matrix or the Agent Smith, like the programs. They're reading this super fast and they can see all your product data, right? Very easily and quickly in this JSON file that's following a standard that we have developed. And then this allows the agents to read your website and your products super fast and super easy to be able to compare with maybe other products other competitors are selling or what their user, the human, is talking to them about. So it makes it super easy. So that's, to be honest, the core. That's the core. Obviously there's so much more I can explain about it, but that's the very core. And that's what Build My Online Store does, is we make at the very core is we make a feed that's agentic commerce ready, following different protocols. And I don't know how much you want me to get into X402, MPP, and other UCP, ACPs, which I can get into, but those are different, sounds scary, but different terms for agentic commerce protocol, universal commerce protocol, X402 payments, machine payment protocol. So you don't need to know this, to be honest. I think you need to know some as a merchant, but we took care of all that for you. You can, of course, learn that. I love to talk to anybody about that, but we basically built that for you by putting in your product data. So this is generated automatically once you get your product data into our platform. You connect your catalog. You can connect multiple catalogs. And then you can take some or all of those products. So actually, even Christian, we should maybe even hide some of these from glassroomer.com, because this is pulling the full catalog. But if you don't want, say, glassroomer.com to have other products, you can hide it. And so there's much more, but that's the core. That's the core. So there's, of course, analytics, there's your feed, there's boosting your feed. That's basically agentic commerce SEO or internet marketing or exposure or traffic. So you can see some analytics here. Again, we're very early, right? We're very early. So I don't think there's much agentic commerce really converting right now, or at least for physical products in our space. But the belief is, and I believe it, will be there. Humans will be asking agents to buy things, search things, convert things, etc. So for now, we're just tracking the data of how many times it's getting picked up, where it's getting picked up, how it's getting picked up, how many times it's being served, things like that. There's a bunch more, but how am I doing?
Yeah, I think I need to throw a question first, Mike. So I think the point here is this can cover both human and agents, right? It means that those old Shopify or other hosted platform services that normal sellers opt in or subscribe with, they can use this instead, and then they can have the same store or similar store.
Yep. So
it's not just agentic technically, or it's not just for pure AI.
So we built this pretty flexibly, and we have been talking to a lot of sellers in our network. A lot of them love Shopify and want to stay on Shopify, and that's totally fine. We don't want to have to replace Shopify. If you can totally stay on Shopify. So we have actually a Shopify plugin, and you can connect your Shopify store and import your products from your Shopify into our site to create the feeds for you. And then once you import that and create your catalog, you can then create either mini sites. You could make an agentic tab on your current Shopify store. You can do many more things. You can create a Google feed. You can build your own store, which I know you've done with this, which is with the MCP. There's so many keywords now. You can connect to, say, Hamza, which is our Web3 marketplace coming soon, make webhooks. But my short answer is, yeah, you can use your existing Shopify. We don't have an Amazon connector yet, but you could take an Amazon flat file. We're working on making it as easy as possible, and I know you've been working on it, Christian, a lot, to make it easy for you to import and sync products. Is that clear?
I think that's, for me, if it's no brainer. If why would I stay into something that is fixed to serve for human? So
just to say, Shopify, of course, is working very hard on agentic commerce, From my understanding, they're following one of the two main ones because they're the main driver of it. And it's UCP, Universal Commerce Protocol. And Shopify is going all in on that one. There's a competing one called ACP, Agentic Commerce Protocol, and that's by Stripe and some others. And so, again, this is changing so fast. But as far as my last research, Shopify does not currently support ACP standard. They only support UCP standard. So you might ask, what are these things even? Of course, I could explain them, but it basically just means the standards that they follow. So what we try to do at Build My Online Store is we follow both. So we support both. That's maybe one advantage of ours is we support both standards, current major standards. I think there's other standards coming as well. But I hope that's clear.
Yeah. And I think my other take here is I'm not sure what's the current status of the Shopify, to be honest, everyone. But I think when I tested this, build my online store, like technically my agent built my whole store for me. Of course, in the technical side. But in the Shopify is you need to like a building blocks. You need to
Well, no, I think Shopify
check.
also has MCP. I just want a lot of people I know use Shopify and they are able to use MCP. So I believe you did. So yeah, you made glassrimmer.com. Let's just look at that. And so Glassrimmer is here. You can, of course, type it up on your own browser. And this was built with AI. And I liked what you did. You have these like kind of pop outs. This is basically powered by Build My Online Store in the back end. The front end is the AI generated storefront. You might call it headless. You might call it, it's not fully because it's a website, but it's separating the front and the back. So this is just a front end. The checkout would happen if you're watching my screen on Glassrimmer. I add to cart, I check out. This would go to our checkout best. So this checkouts are a little bit difficult on small websites because they usually need a database and a whole e-commerce setup. So what we did is built you a white label system to be able to do that. And if you noticed, I clicked the buy with human. This is really for entertainment, but I show agent buy, and I don't expect an agent to click that button. I did that for you guys to see. And you can see it's the X402 response standard where it's showing payment required. It's giving you the address, the amount, the currency, and the rail of tempo. So this would tell the agent, hey, if you want to do this action, you need to pay this amount to this address and follow these steps. So that's, you built this with some prompts. So we give the prompts to the user in the store builder tab. And the prompts are here. You can preview the prompt. We updated the site a bit. So we actually try to help you if you have an existing website or if you have a brand new website. It's almost easier, Christian, if it's a brand new site. If it's an existing site, it's a little bit more delicate because you want to keep the URLs and you want to keep the current content. You don't want your agent to just delete everything or wipe everything or change everything. So we have two different prompts. And they're very long prompts. And I don't know, did you use these, Christian, when you did it?
A bit technical. I kind of use it as reference only, guys. I don't want to technically break the current store. And what I did on the glass streamer is, of course, I use generated images. So I kind of combine that prompt with our own tools to generate images. So technically, half, Mike, is my answer. I use it.
Which is fine. I don't want to say I don't care. I just made that to help you get started. I think you could understand. You could take some of it. Basically, what it does is it gives all the information that an agent such as Codex, Claude Code, Claude Cowork, GPT, maybe you might use Codex, any kind of developer tool. In Cursor, and you put, you would put this prompt or some of this prompt or part of this prompt but basically it's giving them the store name, the ID, the catalog. It's also using that same feed and it's giving them docs. It's giving them everything that they need so that they can understand how to make this. And then that you can make things like what you've done with Glassrimmer. And this has been what I've wanted to do for so many years and almost not really it's somewhat not agentic, but it also is agentic, but you're using agents to build it. And humans could buy on this just like a normal website, but also agents can buy on it. If you notice, it also says also available on Amazon. You click here, it goes to Amazon, right? So I don't know if everybody has a strategy. I know some people like that, some people don't like that. You could have all kinds of rules, right? You can make a skill for your agent to do it. You can do it all different ways. So let's maybe go back to the slides, or is this?
I think they grasp already the overall picture here.
Yeah. So I think I covered quite a few slides already, but I'll just still go back. Basically, the catalogs. So on behind the scenes on Build My Online Store, again, I know Christian laughs at me and others. I have all these websites or names. We call it 51 exports. Actually, I don't know if it'll be 51. It's a slang in Chinese for wo yao, which is I want. So it's Chinese people should recognize this. It means I want exports. That's what 51
Oh,
means. Yeah, I want exports. To be honest, there is a meaning behind the 51. So 51 exports is for the suppliers. So if it is only a supplier and they're not a seller, they would maybe only use 51 exports. But this is where the data feed goes. This is where the product data goes, excuse me. You would get it in here, you clean it up, and then you would feed us to Build My Online Store to go to feeds, whether it's agentic feeds or traditional legacy feeds or front ends, and then even future channels. So this future proofs you, again, whether you use our hosted one or follow our standards to make your own. I think this is really an important step for an e-commerce seller long term. I don't know. I think Christian is even better at this than me. Do you have a comment about catalogs and product data, structured data?
I think it's in the slide that I might show
Yeah, maybe we can
something.
cover it.
Yeah, I think I will show later. But I
Okay.
kind of did the other part of what Mike did, which is owning my own data. I think the correct
Exactly.
term, my own business data.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that. I think I'll skip the demo of our 51 exports. It's a little bit boring and we're a little bit short on time. We will have more of these based on feedback. But basically, 51 exports is more of a catalog system. So it's a way if you import your products or manually create your products. But once you have them in there, this is where you can create feeds and exports and have a better system for you. And then the checkout, I did feel like I covered this a little bit with the BMOS demo. If you notice when I click buy now, whether it's a human or an agent, the domain that you might have noticed was checkout.best. Of course, we could have called it checkout.buildmyonlinestore.com or even buildmyonlinestore.com/checkout or something like that. We did this because Build My Online Store is not meant for the end consumer to know about. This Build My Online Store is for merchants and sellers. It's not for end consumers. So we wanted to make a little bit of a clean white label checkout only system. And we thought this domain was pretty cool, secure.checkoutbest. If you remember in my demo, I had a little glassroomer.com on the top left to show my logo or my brand. At least I don't even have a logo. We don't have a logo for that, but it just shows people, hey, this is from the seller. It doesn't say like Shopify. It doesn't say Build My Online Store. It doesn't say Stripe. It's meant to be like a white label checkout. And it's for both humans and agents. So that's this. We call it CBest or Checkout Best. And here's a little screenshot. Of course, it's on a different site, but in a different product. For NewYorkBarStore.com, it has our earrings. You can see it also has variations. You can really do a lot with it. It's meant to be more of a infrastructure. So if you want to have the buttons, Christian, right? If you want to have it where it's a drop down or a selector or multiple like here, it's meant to give you flexibility also in the display on the consumer side. Another quick one, and it's a big passion for me, and it's the way I'm trying to bridge what I've been doing in Web3 or Handshake or in the blockchain with what I've been doing in e-commerce. Headlessdomains.com is agentic naming. So we're offering this and bringing this into the Build My Online Store ecosystem for you as a merchant to use this for your agentic store. It will, all of them, like glassroomer.agents is there. They all have it now, the ones we've made. And this is a way to separate or compartmentalize your agentic feed from your humanui.com or traditional website. And again, I think we're like short on time, And basically, this is built in for you, and agents can read it. It isn't supported in Google Chrome and Brave, but the domain will open to an agent if you tell them to follow Handshake protocol. And we are building out standards or headless domain system. They will be able to read this and understand your product inside ChatGPT and other platforms. So this is a screenshot of that system. It essentially looks like a traditional domain system, except there's some cool new tabs like agentic commerce, where if you have your Build My Online store connected, it would show your store. It would also have different keys and DNS and name servers and analytics as well on that, so you can manage the analytics. It's an extensive, complete system that we've worked for many months on building. And then something I want to turn over to Christian, we're calling it the Fly Sales, which is flywheel or your e-commerce brain. And yeah, I've been really, amazed always Christian's initiatives, but I think you started to see the value of we've been talking about owning your data. You've always done this. You've always had really good spreadsheets for research and reporting. So I think you've taken a further extension of the spreadsheet and evolved it into maybe a brain or a operating system. So I don't know if you want to
I think
share.
maybe a quick we are short in time, but I think I will do a quick overview on what's the real.
Should I turn up
I
my
think
screen?
I can share.
Okay, I turned off my screen.
So I think what really happened, guys, is ever since I'm always want to automate my life, but of course in a totally different way. But the point here is I started with the spreadsheet and then I use different tools and then I study a lot of formula, and now I already built a real data source of the business. It means that the logic behind here is all the product catalog, the one that Mike show or skip, the 51 expert is kind of 10% in here, but it is enriched. So it means that all the sales data, all the other activity of the operations, and even the history of the product, reviews, all of them is inside. And actually, I've been like doing more thinking and brainstorming with my agent to put more data inside, like a social media data or whatsoever, those hard things that it's hard to control because you need to apply for them to just get your own data. But the logic here is maybe the main, how can I explain this easily? This is like a brand. So technically it's focused per brand. You can see here our brands that is actively working. And this is the products. So this is the catalog. It's similar to what 51 experts have. This is technically I can just export it and then put it to Mike. That's how it works. Or I can just bridge it through API. But here is, as you can see, there's like a lot inside. Even the barcode, like an overview of the product, the description and everything. So the AI maintained this for us and everything. And here is the other complex one. So it's more on the marketplace. Your product is being sold. So if I will sell to Mike's BMOS or to the other one, I will add it here technically. So if you will think about it, the product itself is being used to multiple platforms. So I build it that way. Before, this is just a single product. It's not even containerized per marketplace, but I realize it should be per marketplace because each marketplace have its own data. So if you will see as well the cost, like I'm not sure if I can show everything, but this is the cost of the product, how it landed through these landed COGS because of the shipments record, or of course if the tariff, customs, and then other fees. And then we have more actually bill of materials. This is for the sourcing part. If you're technically if your product is being built or produced with multiple supplier, I add it here as well. What else? And I have lots. Of course, this is for the shipment again. It's connected to the shipment and cost. And then the fact sheet, it's kind of sounds weird, but technically what's the product all about? What's the product? What's the offer of the product? It means. And then the materials and everything. And one thing I actually really impressed of the system that I have now is even the listing images, or I'm not sure how the marketplace called it, but technically images of your of your marketplace. It has data inside. So I call this. I'm not sure how the other people call it, but I call it visual knowledge base for AI. because I need this data as well for my AI to create me more marketing materials. That's actually the real point of this one, or even repurpose it for different things. So each media that I have here is have a lot of data inside behind it, like a meta tags or whatsoever. And the activity, this is the history that I'm talking with the agent that I'm trying to have. What is the history of the product itself? So that's kind of a wider stretch of what you have, Mike, on the 51 export. But of course, those are more like enriched way how I kind of see each product. And with that, of course, I will start the mapping. So where are you are selling now? Right now, we are mainly selling on the Amazon, and I'm pulling some sales data on those. I call it data source, and it will be mapped out per product. So that's why there are like sales of 30 days or whatsoever here. It's technically mapped out. If you will see, everything is, this is like the aggregated part. You will kind of, if you guys are using the seller board, you kind of have the vibe, or they have a similar vibe. And technically, they are like super identical. But the point here is you own already the data. Before, guys, I like spend like almost a million rows in the spreadsheet to save this. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you guys how hard that is to maintain, to be honest, on a spreadsheet. I always have to change my formula just to accommodate the new data. So that's what's my old setup, and now everything is in our own production database. And then of course, the other parts, everything is common here, but the other point here is the inventory part, which is the shipment. So this one is, it's hard to compare, but if you remember on what I show on the product side, the lots, which is the landed cogs, it's because of here. I already input all the products shipment here. And this is a smart way because I'm using a sea freight or air freight calculation. Technically, the system is calculating it for me. To be
Okay.
honest, even I was doing it from the past, it's always hard to calculate this every shipment, and I want to automate it. Actually, we hire Mike, and Mike and I hire a professional just to help us with this. And everything is here now. So I think that's mainly the function of the app, which is the catalog side, the shipment, every important details, and the other is just an add-ons that I cherry pick for the business, and of course the operation side. And pricing, Mike. Actually, I'm not sure if you saw this already, but pricing, I already added here. Because like I said, if you have the data, you will see how much you are spending and actual margin now. Technically, no more estimated margin. It will be an
Yeah.
actual margin. And B2B simulator too. I added it here. So I think that's what I've been working for I think, Mike, this is for 2 months now. I've been
Yeah, at
optimizing it for
least
a
I don't
while.
know. So we're getting a question.
Yes.
Zesty Falcon. That means you can log in with your GFA VIP, but I think you didn't log in with a GFA VIP or anonymous, so you're Zesty Falcon. Thank you for attending. He's asking, is this an e-commerce platform or a new Shopify site with a single product? So I'm not. We've actually probably overwhelmed you and everyone with all these websites and tools. If you're talking about glassrimmer.com, that is a static. No, that's just a pure HTML CSS website that was generated from a product feed. Okay, thanks. That was generated with a flat site. I don't know how technical you are, but that was generated from the product feed of the BMOS. As far as Shopify, we have a Shopify plugin. We are a Shopify developer. The plugin imports the products into our Build My Online store to create the feed, to create the website, but it's not a Shopify store. So the idea here is you can have mini sites and you don't need to make multiple Shopify stores. You can still have your main I've talked to a lot of you guys. You love Shopify. I appreciate what Shopify has done for the industry too. So you can still keep your main Shopify, but maybe you want to have some mini sites for single products. You could pull that in and make a single product site. Yeah. As well as agentic checkouts and other things. So that's the way it's working now. And we're open to your feedback and requests, but that's the way it's working. We have a few more minutes. I could go back to my slides. I guess I do have too many slides to finish, but I will breeze through some of the core ones for today. I don't mind to do more of these if people like them. So view full screen. Man, so that's just to recap where we are on the slide. So that was we're calling that the fly sales. This is the company. I call it the e-commerce brain or the company brain. So I think the direction of what Christian's building on, that's a completely independent software, but we wanted to mention that because we believe you should build something like that. We can work with you on that. You can build that by yourself, but we thought we'd at least share with you what we're doing in our brands. And the idea here is if all of your data is in there, it's not just about saving fees on seller board. It's actually about having your data there so that you can have predictability, forecasting, adjustments of your numbers based on different things that happen in your industry or in the economy. It's really a massive tool, and I think sellers will need that. So we wanted to at least show you that. Basically, the idea is we're trying to show you one feed, not just for agentic commerce, which is still very early, but I strongly believe will become a more significant channel, but as well as other mini sites like the Glassroom or other platforms as well. I'm going to kind of go through this. So basically, we are pitching a soft sell, but if you're interested in what we're doing, we are starting a new cohort program. I've done this with other kind of businesses and business models that we've done over the years here at Global From Anywhere now, Global From Asia. So it's called the Empower the Seller program. It's not a course. We will, of course, record the sessions and we'll have some trainings. It's meant to be like a group program. We're not looking for more than a few sellers to join us. We build together over 3 months. So it's a 3-month program. We want to finish before Cross-Border Summit in November so we can kind of maybe give some certificates and share what people have learned and built. The program is, of course, a course, but it's also the software, lifetime to those softwares. Besides the fly sales, that's separate, but the BMOS, the 51 exports, the Checkout Best would be a lifetime subscription, as well as support and working with you in this group over 3 months to develop it. We're not looking for new sellers. We're looking for existing sellers, whether you're on Amazon, Shopify, or both, or maybe on other platforms. We'd love to work with you to help you develop this agentic commerce and multi-channel platforms, various different ways. We have this program built. It's the first time we're introducing this publicly, so we'd love your feedback. But the point is to build basically a multi-channel commerce platform with agentic heavily involved, if not primarily involved in that. We opened the applications today. I don't know if Ann can link. It's empowertheseller.com/join. We're not giving a hard pitch. We're not giving a hard ask today. We'd love to. It's an application only. We want to make sure you're the right fit. Well, we will share more information about this in the email correspondence after you apply. We are going to choose everyone by July 8th, so it's still got a couple of weeks, and we're going to kick it off mid-July right into the summer with a 3-month program ending in October. With the deliverable of having agentic stores, better control of your product data, maybe work with the company brain, whether you build it yourself or build it with maybe what Christian's been developing. That would be, I recommend, on your own server, a little bit more internal for you, as well as this BMOS and other things. But the main point is this is not really a course. It will be some modules, but it's more like a mastermind, a cohort, a weekly call, a group, community where we work together. And I've done this before with other programs. This isn't first for this agentic stores and multi-channel, but I've done this successfully. I have many testimonials. I don't know if everyone here knows me and our reputation and our community. We've been doing this for over 10 years in multiple different ways. The first time, of course, for this agentic commerce program called Empower the Seller. And there's all kinds of bonuses and Q&A, but that's the gist of it. And I hope my screen sharing is working. I'm still somewhat damaged from the past. But yeah, we will be talking to a lot of people. We already are talking to people about joining, and we'd love any thoughts or questions or feedback as we go into this new world of the agentic commerce and multi-channel world. And we will have another session. I'll be back. I think Christian's done for tonight. Even it's a long day. I appreciate you, man. And
it is a long day, but there's still a lot of things to do.
I think we're all FOMO'd to death of AI and the new world, but I think we all got to realize I think we've done, even if you're on this webinar and listening and following and learning, I think most people are still no idea what's happening, I think. But we're way more prepared. Of course, that means we shouldn't stop. But yeah, it's been really great to see you develop so much, Christian, and others on our team, like Anne, and hopefully others in this group on this call are also learning and growing. But I think we should wrap it up for now.
Yep.
And we will be following up in emails, and you can of course reach out to us if you have questions. And stay tuned. We're going to do another quick little fun session about our Road to Cross-Border Summit segment. So thanks, everybody.
What a deep dive. It's clear that owning your data isn't just a buzzword anymore, Lisa. It's becoming the most valuable asset for any e-commerce brand. Centralizing everything into one company brain is the foundation for everything that's coming.
Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that this isn't just for tech startups. Every seller, whether they have one product or 1,000, needs to start thinking about how their data is structured. The demo of the Fly Sales app really drove home how powerful it is to have all your sales, logistics, and product history in one place for AI to analyze.
And it's a journey. We know it can feel overwhelming, which is why we're not just talking about theory. We want to build this future alongside our community.
So for our listeners who are inspired by this and want to take action, what's the next step? How can they start building their own agentic commerce foundation?
The best way is to join us. We're launching the Empower the Seller program, a 3-month hands-on cohort where we'll work directly with a small group of existing sellers to build out their systems, set up their agentic feeds, and get them ready for this new era. It's about building together.
That sounds incredible. Where can they find out more?
You can apply and get all the details at empowertheseller.com/join. We'd love to have you build with us. Thanks for tuning in to Global from Anywhere. We'll see you next time.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromanywhere.com. That's www.globalfromanywhere.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.